Good morning and happy Wellness Wednesday. Welcome to our live Q&A with Rose Natural Wellness. My name is Adelaide and I am a certified nutrition and wellness consultant, and we specialize in education and personalized guidance for women's nutrition and wellness. So this week I'm really excited because I'm coming to you live from Colorado. Normally I come to you live from South Florida, but today we are out of town in Denver. So I wanted to have a special feature on Colorado as a way to kind of honor the fact that I'm here in Colorado and give you some more local seasonal tip ideas to help maximize your nutrition in Colorado in late summer and early fall. So I'm really excited to dive in. And as we get started, please feel free to drop any questions that you have into the chat, whether you're from Colorado or from a different state. I definitely want to hear from you. So first, if you are from Colorado, please tell me, what is your favorite late summer or early fall activity? And if you are not from Colorado, just let me know, what is your late summer or early fall favorite food that you like to have that's local to your area? And just give us a shout out from wherever you are tuning in from. Awesome. So, yes, we're going to go ahead and just dive into some amazing local harvest foods that are in season here in Colorado during that late summer and early fall timeframe, and how we can use these seasonal foods to really support women's energy, hormones, and overall health. So, again, please let us know where you're tuning in from, what your favorite seasonal food is. And if you are tuning in from Colorado, let us know what your favorite healthy activity is in the comments. All right, so first, let's kind of talk about why this seasonal food really matters for women's health. So in Colorado, we have a couple of really unique, cool things that are at play that really help to create a more healthy and health forward nutritional atmosphere here. So, one of the big things that really categorizes Colorado's unique food culture is this commitment to a farm to table type of restaurant setup. Many restaurants here in Colorado do a farm to table where they are literally growing and harvesting their food, and then that becomes the actual food that is on your plate when you're at the restaurant, which is pretty cool. And that's really awesome because it really amps up the nutritional benefits of those foods, and it goes to help support the local farmers in the area. So same thing with farmers markets. Farmers markets are phenomenal. And unfortunately, because Colorado gets so cold during the late fall, winter, and even into the springtime, we have just a small window of opportunity where those fresh farmers markets are available widespread throughout the state. So really take advantage of this opportunity and get out there to chat with your local farmers and find some great local seasonal foods that you can add to your plate to elevate the nutritional benefit of your plate. And then local agriculture. Again, this is kind of the overarching theme of the whole farm to table concept, as well as having access to farmers markets. We are supporting local agriculture. Our state is kind of designed in a way that allows for certain foods to really thrive during this late summer, early fall time frame. So those types of foods are going to grow larger. They're going to have more of a nutrient density because they're in season. And when they're grown locally, there is a much shorter distance that they have to travel to actually get to your plate. So because of that, we see a lot less in the way of pollution. So, not as many carbon emissions from vehicles that are transporting these goods to the farmers markets or local grocery stores or even restaurants. And we also see a less use of pesticides and preservatives on these types of produce items. Because if you think about it, if we are getting our fresh fruits and veggies all the way from Colombia, for example, it has to take a really, really long journey to arrive in Colorado. Whereas if we are eating fruits and vegetables that are from Elizabeth, Colorado, it's only a relatively short distance to get those over to Denver. So that's why it's going to really give you a much higher nutritional benefit for the foods that you're eating. Sometimes these foods can be less expensive, even because they're coming from much shorter distances, and we are having a much higher overall health benefit because we're not needing to utilize as many pesticides and preservatives in that process. So that's going to make the foods really fresh and a lot more nutrient dense. So, with that, the reason that this really ties into women's health is because our seasonal produce is really going to especially support energy levels, immunity, and hormone balance for women. Obviously, all foods have these superpowers, but our seasonal foods kind of take that to the next level. And when it comes to immunity, this is another really, really cool thing that I love to highlight is if you are somebody that has challenges with seasonal allergies, I'm certainly one of those people. It's not just spring allergies for me. I get a fresh kind of exposure to new allergens every time the season changes. So, this is a really good tip for anybody that really wants to boost their immunity or help address any allergies that are coming along. You can actually utilize local honey to help with kind of improving your immunity and reducing those allergies. So, the reason this works is because the bees are exposed to this exact area. They're exposed to all of the different allergens and they pick those things up as they move from flower to flower and pollinate different produce. So, with that, they actually carry with them small pieces of these allergens that get transferred then into the honey, and it actually helps you to boost your immunity. So, this is especially helpful with honey that is raw honey and especially honey that has propolis in it. That's going to be the most effective because the propolis is actually extremely high and antioxidants as well. So that's another benefit that you get for boosting immunity, reducing the overall stress on your body, and helping your body to better adapt during those times where you may be experiencing higher allergies. And this is certainly not unique to Colorado. I will say that Colorado has a great brand for local honey called Bjorn's. I absolutely love their products. And anytime that I'm in Colorado, I really try to get something from Bjorn's because they are just an excellent company that provides really high quality honey. But this certainly expands far beyond Colorado. Any place that you are vacationing, spending time in, you can get access to local raw honey from that area, and that will help with better adapting to those allergies. Awesome. So now I really want to dive into spotlighting a couple of really key Colorado seasonal foods that we get to enjoy during this late summer and early fall season. I'm sure nobody that is from Colorado will be surprised at all what number one on this list is, and that's Palisade peaches. Palisade peaches are kind of a famous peach variety here in Colorado. They are known to be especially delicious, and they are really only available pretty much in late August timeframe. So if you have not yet gone out to get your Palisade peaches, I really recommend doing that because they are only going to be here for a limited time, and they bring us tons of great nutrients. So Palisade peaches are going to be super high in vitamin C, of course, dietary fiber to help with healthy digestion, and then antioxidants, which are again going to help reduce the overall stress on our bodies and be able to make ourselves a lot healthier, make sure everything is just fueling and functioning optimally in the body. So, when it comes to women's health, Palisade peaches are really a great tool to help support our skin health, healthy digestion, and our overall immunity, especially because we get that kick of extra vitamin C. So, some ideas to really elevate your plate using Palisade peaches would be maybe tossing them into smoothies. This is especially great as we head out of the summer season into more of fall time, early winter. You can actually take these peaches and freeze them so you have them on hand as a good frozen fruit option to add into your smoothies. You can also slice these over oatmeal or a Greek yogurt to add that extra fruit benefit in there. Or if you're looking for something a little on the sweeter side, you can enjoy a healthy dessert by grilling pieces of the peaches with cinnamon. And this is just such a powerful punch for supporting digestive health and giving you a really healthy dessert. So if you go that route, I recommend cutting the peaches in half, remove the pit from the peach, and then you can just go ahead and put cinnamon on the exposed side of the peach and go ahead and grill that on the grill. You can either do it straight on the grill or add some aluminum if you don't want that charring to touch the peach. But a few great options to help with that. The next one is going to be sweet corn. So I find this really interesting, but actually, the most common time that we typically in the United States will eat corn is usually during the summertime. Around 4th of July is probably the most common time because we are celebrating our 4th of July, and that's typically a staple food. However, corn is not typically in season in most areas in July. It's actually better in the late summer and early fall. So now's the best time to stock up on that sweet corn. You've got some key nutrients, of course, our dietary fiber. We've got great B vitamin varieties in the sweet corn. And we also have these phytonutrients, which I've talked about before. Those are basically our colorful nutrients that give different fruits and veggies their unique colors and create that rainbow that we see in the produce aisle or hopefully on your plate. So, a couple of these key phytonutrients that corn has are called carotenoids, like lutein and zeaxanthin. So, those are absolutely essential and extremely helpful for supporting eye health. And then, of course, our healthy fiber is going to be really great for digestion. So you get a lot of excellent benefits here. So, some ideas to help you along would be adding those corn kernels to your salads. So you can chop that off, toss it into a salad. You could make a corn and black bean salsa, which is a great pairing because you also get the added benefits of higher protein and dietary fiber as a part of that. You can also freeze the corn as well to save for during the winter time when you can add it to some different winter soups. So, really versatile, great option to have in your balanced plate as well. Now, finally, the last one that I have on our essential list here is probably also not going to surprise you. I talk about this type of food a lot, but this is going to be our healthy leafy greens. So, Colorado grown greens are going to be the next thing that I would really challenge you to add to your plate. So, this can be kind of a wide variety, but you could include things like kale, spinach, or Swiss chard. There's plenty of other green options, but ideally you want to look for a Colorado local variety. So there is a brand called Gotham Greens that's based out of Colorado. They do a phenomenal job with their greens. You could also go to the farmer's market and get them fresh from a local farmer here in the area, but really aim to amp up the nutritional benefits of your plate by using these Colorado grown greens. Greens, again, are going to be our top number one most nutrient dense food that exists, period. The reason why is because they are so low in calories, but so high in our essential micronutrients that this makes them the number one most nutrient dense food that we have available. So, some of the key nutrients that we see in a lot of these greens are going to be iron, which may surprise some of you, but dietary iron is very high in a lot of greens, especially spinach. Magnesium, again, is very high in our greens, calcium, and vitamin K. So, this may be surprising to you all because when you think of things like iron and calcium, your first thought may not be leafy greens, but in fact, these are extremely high in those essential micronutrients. And as you add them into your meals, you'll find that they create a very simple addition. You can add a huge volume of these greens into many different meals without it feeling like such a huge volume. So you can really stock up on that nutritional benefit in a very real way without feeling like you're eating this massive amount of food. So the way that this really supports women's health is, of course, with the iron, calcium, and magnesium, as well as the vitamin K, this is going to really directly help support bone health. So ensuring that the calcium deposits correctly into your bone to either build or maintain that strong bone structure, which is going to be absolutely essential as we age to help prevent things like slips and falls, injuries, and fractures. This is also going to provide us with a ton of cellular energy. All of those essential micronutrients are going to go directly into our cells and fuel them with the energy that they need to perform all the amazing chemical processes that make us who we are. So, very, very good to incorporate there. It also helps with muscle recovery. So, for any of you ladies that are doing any sort of resistance training, athletics, or going to the gym in any capacity, this will definitely help with the recovery of your muscles. So, some tips I have for you, like I mentioned, leafy greens are a lot more versatile than a lot of people realize. So, this goes well beyond just salads. So, of course, you can add a wide variety of mixed greens into your salad and make a really giant, delicious, nutrient dense salad. And I totally am such a proponent of that. So, if you love salads, please go for it. Add all your greens and have a good time with it. But if you're not as much of a huge fan of eating a salad frequently, there's plenty of other ways. So you can saute, for example, Swiss chard with some garlic and add some other spices or seasonings, and you could have a very delicious side dish for a dinner, a lunch, or any other sort of meal. You could also add spinach to egg scrambles. So you could make essentially scrambled eggs with spinach or a spinach omelet. That's going to be a great option. But even beyond that, we can start to think of things like pastas and soups. These are going to be really, really easy to add in a high volume of leafy greens that will really boost the nutritional benefit of your meal without seeming overwhelming. So, for example, I actually just recently made what I call an egg roll in a bowl. Essentially, what that is it's chopped up steak with some onions and garlic. You add a few different seasonings and spices and sauces. So, sweet and sour sauce, soy sauce, sesame oil, and rice vinegar for some additional health benefits and some added flavor. And then you toss in also the like a chopped cabbage. I use like an Asian chopped salad to help with that. But before I added in my chopped salad, what I did was I took about half a pound of spinach and I emptied the entire container into the pan with my meat and my onions. And I just allowed that to wilt and saute together so that the leaves would condense down. Because as you can imagine, you put a half pound of spinach into that pan and it's going to just absolutely overflow. But if you let it cook for a few minutes, it all condenses down and it's almost like it's not even there. It's so minimal by comparison to the other ingredients that you almost don't even notice it. But in the background, it's providing this massive nutritional benefit that's really going to help elevate your plate. So I really recommend trying to add in some of those leafy greens into things like pastas and soups because they really, you can add such a massive amount, but they really don't feel like it's this huge amount of food. And that's the other benefit of adding these greens into other foods and not just salads. Because as you can imagine, a half pound of spinach as a salad is going to be a massive salad. It will probably take your entire lunch hour just to chew through. Versus if you add that same amount of spinach into a pasta or a soup, it's really not going to add that much more volume to the meal, but it will add a significant amount of nutrient density to that meal. So, those are my top three that I really, really would like for you to consider adding to your plate this late summer, early fall. So, those are the Palisade peaches, the sweet corn, and Colorado grown leafy greens. But if you are looking for some additional options to really elevate your plate and the nutritional benefit of what's on your plate, you can also consider adding in things like beets, squash, and apples. These are all going to add that extra punch of nutritional benefit, some extra fun rainbow colors to your plates. And they are definitely a very solid seasonal food to add in that will really help you with elevating that. All right, so now one thing that I often get a ton of different questions about is how does this relate into meal prep and cooking? So let's go over that. So in the world of meal prep, we have two different types of people who typically like to operate in two different ways. So I call those the batch cookers versus the mix and matchers. So batch cookers are typically people who like to cook all of the different ingredients all at one time. And that is going to give you complete meals that you will eat on a daily or weekly basis. But the point being that those complete meals are ready to go for you at any time. So one example would be roasting a tray of veggies. So maybe corn, squash, and beets. You would roast those on a Sunday and use those throughout the week. And I usually pair those with roasted chicken thighs that I also make in the oven to have for those meals throughout the week. So that would be your complete meal, your chicken thighs plus your roasted veggies. Now, if you prefer to have kind of some different ingredients on hand, but not necessarily complete meals, you maybe want to add some more variety or change up some of the ingredients throughout the week, mix and match them, that would put you into the camp of the mix and matchers. So, this is where you would prep individual ingredients and have them ready to go, but you're not going to actually build and put together that meal until you're about ready to eat. So, some great ways to go about this would be cooking your grains separately. So, this could be like quinoa or brown rice, and have that in a bowl or container ready to go throughout the week. And then you have some other veggies picked out. Maybe you chop those up and also put those into containers. That way, when you're ready to eat, you pull out your bowl of brown rice, you pull out your chopped and sauteed squash, and then you just put it together. So, some different ideas there. It's really up to you, and it may be totally dependent on the week too. Some weeks you may be batch cooking complete meals, and some weeks it may be more practical for you to just mix and match those ingredients. Whatever works for you, just try it out and make sure you have those ready to go with your healthy fall veggies. Now, you can also freeze a lot of things. I mentioned this before, but really, you cannot overstate how awesome having a freezer is for your fresh fruits and veggies. The great thing about this is you can go buy local fruits and vegetables from your farmers market, and you can bring them back, use what you can in the immediate time frame, but then you can freeze your peaches, your corn, even your greens. They can all be frozen so that you have access to those healthy, fresh foods at any time without having to worry that they might spoil. Especially great for going into the winter time frame when typically we see fewer seasonally available foods. You still have, of course, a wide variety in the grocery store, but it may not be as nutrient dense or as tasty as you're used to if you're eating foods that are out of season. So, having these frozen foods on hand is still going to preserve the nutritional benefit of those, but have them ready for when you are ready to cook those. So, these are going to be some of my main big tips for the top number three different foods that we have in terms of seasonally available foods in Colorado. So, try these out. Let me know which one is your favorite and how you decided to cook these. I would love to hear your thoughts and see what really was the best option or the key takeaway for you. So remember just that eating with the seasons, whether you're in Colorado or somewhere else, is not only delicious, but it really is one of the easiest and most simple ways that you can maximize your nutrition and energy. So really make an effort to explore those other options, and you can use the seasonal food guide to help you search what foods are seasonally available in your area right now. So before we go, I would love to hear in the comments what is your favorite fall food that you're most excited about this year, and how do you plan to cook it? Let me know in the chat box or in the comments, and we would love to take a look at that. Now, if you're looking for more seasonal food tips or more ideas for nutrient dense foods that you can add into your routine to help boost your health and well being, we wrote an entire article of the top 10 best nutrient dense foods for women's health. And you can access that in the description box or on our website, rosenaturalwellness.com. And if you're ready for personalized support with a qualified nutrition specialist who can walk with you one on one through your nutrition and wellness journey, please consider booking a free discovery call with our team. You can book that at any time on our website, and we have that linked in the description as well. So you can go to rosenaturalwellness.com/discovery-call, or click the link in the description, or click the link on our bio to access that and get started right away. So I look forward to hearing what all of you are getting ready to cook this fall. Definitely let me know if there's a certain topic that you would like us to cover next. But this has been absolutely phenomenal, and I look forward to more of your questions in the coming weeks. But in the meantime, have a healthy and happy day and enjoy your Wellness Wednesday. Bye.